Hey guys, I hope we're doing well. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about cocaine addiction and the progressive nature of it and what that looks like for a lot of people. And I'm going to reflect a little bit as well on my own experiences. Now, when I started using the drug, it would be maybe once every 4 to 6 weeks. So not a huge problem, but not particularly ideal either. But that quickly escalated into every Friday. I would be planning it during the week, preoccupied, thinking about it. And that was when things started to go downhill a bit. And then it slowly started impacting other areas of my life. That lack of sleep, even using once a week, leads into a chaotic following week. You're not on point with things. You don't do everything you need to be doing. Your ambitions, your goals, all goes out the window. And that was the first regression for me, using every week. And then that escalated even further. I would start maybe justifying a session during the week on a Wednesday, even Tuesday, anything it could be. Once I started having access to multiple dealers, it's become a slippery slope. And once you're stuck in that little world, it's very, very difficult to get out. And I gradually found over the months, over the years, the amounts were starting to increase. At first I'd maybe go through a gram during an evening, all night. But slowly but surely I'd find myself calling up people 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, going to extreme lengths to carry on the session into the next day. And that's when it really does start impacting your life. You become unreliable, chaotic. By that point, I was off the rails, using maybe 2, 3 days every week. And by then, you're on a very slippery slope with it. When I first started using cocaine, I never would have dreamed of taking it on credit. If someone offered it to me on credit, I'd say no. Unless I had the money, I wouldn't buy it. But that changed over time. And before I knew it, I was taking a lot of stuff on credit and working up quite large bills and getting myself into situations that I really didn't want to be in, owing the wrong kind of people money, under pressure consistently to be able to pay off these debts, unable to keep up with my general living expenses and general life expenses because I'd be taking cocaine on credit and having to use all that money for that. Complete and utter chaos. Whereas when I started using it, I never would have dreamed I would end up in that situation. If someone had said to me, that's where it's going to end up, I wouldn't have believed them. I would have said, no, I won't let that happen. Not in a million years. But that is exactly what happened. Owing thousands of pounds, 2-day benders, calling up people 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, can I get more? And of course they were always there, happy to give you more on credit, going more and more into debt. A terrible way to live, and I'm super grateful now to have a year clean and sober away from that destruction. But that those things there that I mentioned are the progression that will happen to a lot of people if you start using cocaine. There might be people watching this who are in similar situations to what I was in. And what I will say is it can be beaten. You can get out of that. The main thing is getting out of that environment. It's very, very difficult to get clean and sober if you're stuck around the same people and places. It's virtually impossible. But guys, there you have it. If any of this stuff resonates, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to be posting content twice a week talking about addiction recovery, my own personal journey, and sharing my advice and tips to help other people. Have a great week, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Cheers.